Welcome back to On the Couch. Interested in fencing? Rowan actually has a fencing club here on campus. Here to discuss the club and fencing as a whole is the president of the club, Harrison Hawkins. So, tell me more about the club.
So we're actually very new. We started this last semester. I'm part of the rec center as a sports club. We're currently about 15 members strong.
Okay.
We keep getting more members as we find that more students are interested in the club.
So you mentioned you're new. What were some of the steps you had to take to form this new club, especially it being a sport and everything?
So as a sports club with the rec center, it's actually easier than people might think. You have to find a certain number of students who are interested. You need to find who's going to be on your e-board, and you need to make this proposal to the sports center.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, you're in.
That was about it. But there is this whole, that being said, there's a whole process that sports clubs have to go through until they're actually official. So while we are a sports club, we are still petitioning, as
Yeah.
they call it.
So what's the process of petitioning, and when do you officially become? When are you done with that process?
So we are currently, I believe, in the third month of petitioning. Certain steps are reporting attendance,
Okay.
doing a service project, making the sports club monthly meetings, such stuff like that. At the end of which we'll be talking with the sports club officials, and they will either give us a go, which I'm hoping,
Yeah.
or deny the club, which shouldn't really happen.
So, I have no experience in fencing, but how could I get involved? Like, would I be able to still get involved?
Of course. So we aim to be a competitive club next year, but until then, we are highly instructive and recreational. So we get that a lot of students have no fencing experience. Half the club are all new members who haven't fenced before. So as a new fencer, you could come in and learn drills, the footwork, blade work, and we would get you going.
Okay, so we've mentioned the word fencing a couple times, but as you said, it may not be that mainstream of a sport. I understand it is in the Olympics, but could you give us a quick little rundown of maybe what is fencing and the equipment you have to wear? I understand you got to cover your face, you have a blade, and all stuff like that.
All right. So I think the biggest thing about fencing is there are 3 styles: foil, saber, and épée, all with unique rules, unique styles. I won't go into that, but each style has a different blade suited to the objective. Foil might be thrusts. Saber is more of a slashing type, and épée is more like foil but with a bigger target area. The sort of equipment that we use is a mask, a jacket, which is like the white, basically the white jacket you see in the Olympics, a blade, and a glove. Now, in the Olympics, they suit up to an electrical system in which they would have a few more pieces of gear. A lame, which is basically a jacket with metal threads going through it, is one such piece of equipment. The blade actually has a wire going through.
Oh, wow.
Connects to a cord that you keep on you and goes to the scoring system.
So, where and how often do you guys meet?
So we meet twice a week. Our main practice is on Saturdays in the group exercise room of the rec center from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then we have our second practice on Thursday nights from 8:45 to 10 o'clock at night in the racquetball courts of the rec center.
So how long have you been fencing? And you mentioned the 3 different types of fencing that there are. So what do you specialize in?
So I've been fencing for about 4 years. Obviously, I took a break between freshman year and sophomore year.
Yeah.
I'm a junior, by the way, because Rowan didn't have a fencing club up until this point. And so I've been fencing 4 years and mostly foil.
Okay. So as president of this fence club, what are kind of some of your duties, whether it's day to day, whether it's running the meetings? What do you have to do as president of the fence club?
So my duties include the paperwork that we have to do for the rec center, any communications with the rec center, be it PR, marketing, and then managing the e-board that I have. So I have a treasurer as of right now and a safety manager, and I communicate with them, make sure practices are going well, make sure practices are happening.
If, let's say I'm very interested in fencing and want to come out, any way you could sell me the sport of fencing right now? Why should I come out and join the fencing club?
I would say the thing that I most like about fencing, and is why anyone should try it, is that while it is a very athletic sport, it's also a very mental sport. You know, you may be on the strip. That's what they, the
you got to
strip.
balance yourself, right?
Well, it is a lot of balance, yes, but also a lot of thinking. If I'm going to feint, I put my blade out there. You might go for it, you might not. I've got to rely on instincts, think what you're going to do ahead of me, and then react to that. So there's a large athletic and reflex component, but there's also a very mental and intellectual component. So I would say that in that regard, fencing really is, it brings together a lot of different types of people.
So again, you said you got about 15 members. How big do you see this growing in the years that you have left here and after you leave this club and graduate, and so to say?
It's hard to say. I would really love to see 30 students, 30 active students, 10 for each style, participate in the club. I would love to see a competitive team. Yeah. I want to send some students to Rutgers, to TCNJ next year. So that's what I see happening. Hopefully it comes to fruition.
So how many other schools like in this area do you know have fencing that we'd be able to compete with as a Rowan Fencing Club?
The two that I mentioned, Rutgers and TCNJ, Princeton.
Oh, wow.
But,
That might be a little big time, though.
Yeah, that might take a little bit longer. Drexel.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's a local base we definitely reach.
Yeah, we can definitely, we don't have to go far to find competition.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the rest of the ventures for the fencing club, and thanks for joining us on the couch at Harrison.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for tuning in for this episode of On the Couch.